Hello. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to my live chat about the top 5 herbs for women's health. What I'll be covering today is a series of information, but I'm going to just start with a quick intro about myself in case you don't know me or know my background. The top 5 health issues that women face today, and then the top 5 herbs that address those major health issues. Then I'm going to dig a little deeper, talk about each herb and how they can affect our health. I'm going to be sharing some statistics with you. And then lastly, I'll talk about some of the best ways to take these herbs. If you haven't yet, make sure that you create a free FullScript account so that you can receive a copy of the top herbal supplements that I recommend that contain those 5 herbs. I'm going to add it into the live chat box right now, the link to my FullScript store. That is also in the description of this video in case you miss it. So be sure to check that out. If you're watching right now, feel free to comment in the chat box with your first name or and last initial, just so I know who's listening. Just optional. And if you are watching the recording, just be aware that YouTube sometimes deletes some of the live chat. So if you're not seeing what I'm posting or what other people are posting, that may be why. Before I get into discussing the herbs, I just want to mention that this video is for information purposes only, and any statements I make have not been evaluated by the FDA. Any herbal products that I mention are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure or prevent any disease. So I do recommend that you always consult with your doctor before making any changes to your medication or supplement plan. Now, before I talk about me, I just want to say one thing. It is tough being a woman, isn't it? Can we all just admit that for 1 second? We seem to deal with so much more stuff than men do, and it can be so unfair. And that's why I invited just the ladies to this event. And thank you, Linda, for your comment. Welcome, AG. I think it's a good time to address some of the things that women deal with more often, and maybe we can learn how to reduce our risk of them. So if you don't know me, you might be wondering, who am I? What qualifications do I have? What do I know about herbs? Well, first off, I am a holistic nutritionist, a health coach, and a personal trainer. I got certified by the American Fitness Professionals and Associates for nutrition and by the National Academy of Sports Medicine for personal training. I have been personal training and nutrition coaching for over 10 years. And I also got a certificate for studying medicinal herbs. So also thought I'd mention, I graduated from Penn State. I'm drinking some herbal tea right now with my Penn State mug. So if any of you went to Penn State, feel free to share that in the comments. I currently live in Pittsburgh. I'm married with 2 amazing kids. And I'm a strong proponent for plant-based nutrition and exercise. I do a lot of weightlifting, athletic style training for exercise, hence my business name, Kelly Athletics. And that is why I am doing this video. So my clients and I have experienced so many health benefits over the years from diet, exercise, and even additional benefits from using herbs. Now, typically, I work one-on-one with women, sometimes in smaller groups. And I've done a few presentations over the years about nutrition and fitness, but this is my first one about herbs, and I'm really excited to share what I know. So I'm the type of person that always looks for the most natural solutions to symptoms or health issues when I can. My entire lifestyle is based around being healthy, and I use herbs whenever I can. So what got me into herbal solutions and herbal remedies in general is that I just have a history of getting unfortunate side effects from prescription medications. And I developed some health problems when I was a teenager, and I believe that it was caused by medication I was taking. And so when I discontinued the medication, I slowly got better, and I was eventually back to good health. And that's why I typically search for alternative solutions when I can. So before I dig into what the most common health issues that women face today, I want to know what you think. What do you think is the top issue that women face today? I just added that question in the comments, so feel free to answer. Before I give my answer, I'll just give some time for you to share your answer. The more I read about herbs and experiment with different supplements and hear from my clients what they're using and what they're experiencing as a result, I just say with confidence, like I think that herbs have real, true healing properties. I can say with confidence that I've overcome a lot of health issues through herbal solutions. And I've seen people have improved energy, reduced pain levels, weight loss, lower blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and a whole host of other benefits from using herbs. Now, as I continue on with using herbs, I just want to share what the difference is between that and Western medicine. So, pharmaceutical medication typically has like a very strong and fast effect, but it can come at the risk of unwanted side effects. Whereas herbal solutions can be a little bit slower. It might take, a few weeks of using something before you really experience the effects of it. Most of you who got invited to this live video have a full script account with me. And if you didn't, then you might not know how to contact me or get the 5 supplements that I'm going to be recommending. So be sure to click the link that I put in the live chat comments after this call to fill out your account. So back to that question I asked earlier, what do you think is the most common health issue that women face today? I want to cover that. So, I believe that the most common health issue that women are facing is hormone imbalance. Roughly 80% of women will experience hormone imbalance at some point in their lives. According to Cleveland Clinic, having a hormone imbalance can be related to health issues like irregular menstrual cycles, PCOS, infertility, acne, thyroid disease, tumors, weight gain, endometriosis, diabetes. Let's not stop there. There's so many more. But how many of you struggle with some of these things? I swear men have it so easy, don't they? Let's not forget the endless list of unwanted symptoms that come with hormone imbalance that's not even listed yet. Like we get hot flashes, dry skin, poor digestion, mood swings, depression, anxiety, and so many more, all because we are women. And I didn't even mention, when women get pregnant or later go through menopause, we deal with a whole host of hormone changes, and that can be really difficult. So, again, hormone imbalance is hands down the most prevalent health issue that women are facing. It affects nearly 80% of women. The second most common issue affecting nearly half of women is heart disease. I bet you weren't expecting to hear that, but the truth is, heart disease is the number one cause of death in women in America. According to the CDC, it affects nearly half of the women and kills 1 in 5. So if you want to live a long and healthy life, you've got to take care of your heart. We tend to think that men are the ones that suffer from heart disease, and maybe we hear about it more often, but women have a greater chance of dying from heart disease than men do, and that is so unfair. Third, I would say that the third biggest health problem that women face today is anxiety. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, women are nearly twice as likely to develop anxiety than men are. Anxiety affects nearly 1 in 4 women, and I wouldn't be surprised if men were the reason. I'm just kidding. So we have to take care of our brains and try to reduce our stress and anxiety the best that we can and keep our mental health in check. And while we're on the topic of mental health, the fourth thing I want to talk about is brain health in general. We have a higher stroke risk. Um, Stroke is the fifth leading cause of death in women. And that's another important reason to take care of our brains. 60% of stroke deaths occur in women, 40% in men. And so that just sounds, again, a little bit slighted. After age 55, women's risk of stroke is about 1 in 5. We're all bound to have at least one of these major health issues in our lives, right? Like there's such a high risk. And it just comes with being human, I guess, but also being female. All I got to say at this point is it surprises me that women have a longer life expectancy than men, knowing this information. But apparently we do. Now, so we've talked about hormone imbalance, heart disease, anxiety, stroke, and one more thing that affects women on a grand scale. Can anyone guess what that is? If you can, type it in the comments. And I'll give you a hint. Women have 100 times more likelihood of getting this health issue than men do. Any guesses? That's right, breast cancer. The fifth but not final health issue. It is probably what most of you thought I would say first as the most important health issue. While it is one of the leading causes of death in women, breast cancer is actually the second leading cause of cancer death in women. So you might be wondering, well, what's first? Lung cancer. And the reason why I didn't pick lung cancer as my number 5 is because lung cancer is most of the time caused by smoking. And that's not necessarily caused by being female. So if we choose not to smoke, our risk of lung cancer drops dramatically. And since less and less people are smoking these days, um, there is a decline in the risk of lung cancer. But as regard to breast cancer, 1 in 8 women in America are getting breast cancer or have had it. And according to the National Breast Cancer Association, 1 in 8, it's about 13%, is how many women end up with cancer in their lives. I'd say women have a pretty good reason to be concerned about getting breast cancer with those statistics. You might be thinking, well, men get breast cancer too, you know, and that's true. But the risk of men getting breast cancer isn't 1 in 8, it's 1 in 833. So that, again, that's why I say women are about 100 times more likely to get it than men are. But in all fairness, women don't have to worry about getting prostate cancer. How many of you know someone that's been diagnosed with or treated for breast cancer? Just as a show of hands, I would say I've known at least 5 women personally who have had it. 2 of them were in their early 30s, and the others were a little bit closer to their 50s or 60s. So, okay, I've covered the top 5 health issues that I believe are affecting women the most. And that's hormone imbalance, heart disease, anxiety, stroke, and then breast cancer. So, because of this, I picked 5 herbs that can improve hormone health, heart health, mental health, cognitive health, and breast health. And I think one of these herbs is just so amazing because it can help with literally every single aspect of women's health. So I'm going to circle back to that question in the beginning. It was, what's the top reason or what is the top women's health issue? Well, the next question is, what do you think is the best herb for women's health? I'll give you my answer to that very soon. Just a reminder, before I talk about herbs, just remember these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and any herbs that I talk about are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So some of these herbs that I'll be talking about, they're considered tonic herbs, which means they're generally safe for the average person to use on a daily basis. That doesn't mean it's safe for everyone. So it's always important to talk to your doctor, especially if you're taking medications or have health issues before you take any herbs. So for hormone health, my top herb for that is called eleuthero. Eleuthero is also known as Siberian ginseng. It can support reproduction and help with balancing hormones, and that is amazing. Eleuthero is known as a zippy libido herb because it stimulates the sex drive, which is clearly very important for reproduction, and it can improve fertility. It can also help women feel younger too. So that's something important. Eleuthero is a stimulating adaptogen, which means it helps our body adapt to stress. And this is important for our hormones because we have a stress hormone known as cortisol. And when that gets out of balance, it can affect a whole host of other hormones and functions in our body. So, since eleuthero can help us with stress, it becomes a really great choice for keeping our hormones in balance. Okay, I'm reading these comments here. So Linda thinks that it's stress, which contributes to physical and mental illness. Yes, I agree with that can certainly be a big problem. And that's one of the reasons why I picked a supplement or herb that can help with stress. For heart health, I want to talk about an herb called hawthorn. This is my top herb for the heart. And hawthorn is known as a hypotensive herb. That means it can help with hypertension. It's known as a heart tonic, which means that it can help with lowering blood pressure, improve circulation, and be taken on a regular basis. It improves literally every aspect of the cardiovascular system. It contains antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. It can heal our blood vessels, especially if they've been damaged. It can even relax and tone the blood vessel lining. This herb, hawthorn, strengthens the heart muscle, improves our heart's pumping ability. And that's actually what I'm drinking right now. I've got my Penn State mug, as I pointed out earlier, and I'm drinking hawthorn with hibiscus. It's fairly tasty. Hawthorn lowers LDL cholesterol, and it can reduce symptoms of angina. It's said to be helpful for those with heart disease. Something that I thought was an interesting fact about hawthorn is it has an uplifting effect on the heart. So that means, like, if you're dealing with grief or a broken heart, that hawthorn can help you feel better. It's the hawthorn berries that may protect against heart disease, though. So again, heart disease, the number one cause of death for American women. We really could use something like hawthorn. For our mental health, I want to talk about an herb called schizandra. It's such a pretty word, but hard to say. Schizandra. It has a calming adaptogenic effect, which helps primarily with balancing our sleep, our mood, and our stress. This makes it a great herb for mental health, and it can lower our risk of anxiety, which is one of the leading mental health issues that we're dealing with. It's schizandra is a berry, and it can give us good sleep, a positive mood, and even pleasant dreams. So that sounds like something good to take at night. There have been other studies that suggest schizandra may help with other health issues like PCOS, estrogen dominance, and thyroid health. It may also support reproduction by balancing libido, similar to eleuthero. So some of these have so many multiple functions that they can kind of help with a number of different conditions. So I got a comment here. Is hawthorn safe to take with prescription drugs? I would always say check with your doctor before starting anything, because there can be interactions with certain herbs and drugs. The next one I'm going to be talking about, well, I'm not going to get to it yet, but there is an herb I talk about soon that I mentioned that there's contraindications. But in general, like I said, for the average person, hawthorn is considered, a safe tonic. I would just always be mindful that there's a risk with any herb or medication. Always talk to a medical professional before starting, is based on your health history. For mental health, I talked about schizandra. For heart health, hawthorn, and for hormone health, eleuthero. So now we're on to cognitive health. So this is my favorite. I actually use this regularly. So for cognitive health, I want to talk about an herb called bacopa. So I take it as a tincture, and that basically means there's like a little bit of alcohol that is in it, and it helps get the herbal benefits from bacopa. So the herb was soaked in it and then strained out when they made this. And I usually just mix it with juice and drink it. It's got the taste of alcohol to it. But the thing that's great about bacopa is it's known as a smart herb tonic. So it helps boost and maintain memory. It helps with brain function and intelligence, and it helps with reducing hyperactivity and improving our attention level. So if you ever have problems with focus or memory, bacopa is known to help retain new information. So that's really one of the things that I use it for, is focus, restoring nerve function, because I have had concussions in the past, and it can affect my memory a bit. So bacopa is known to help restore nerve function from brain trauma or injuries. But also there was a study that suggests it may have neuroprotective and antioxidant benefits for people who had a stroke-induced brain injury. And again, I mentioned women have a higher risk of stroke. It's one of the leading causes of death in women. And it might be a good idea to look into bacopa if you are concerned about that. Bacopa is a supportive herb for Alzheimer's and dementia also, and it may even slow down progression of the disease. So again, this is something that, I see as a genetic risk, is, maybe one day I will get Alzheimer's. Well, I'd rather not, but if I can reduce my risk in any way, I will do what I can. And for me, that's taking this bacopa herb. Now, the last topic is breast health, and I want to talk about a well-known herb called turmeric. Many of you have probably heard of it or used it. It's a flowering herb, it's widely used as a culinary spice, and it's been studied for its anti-inflammatory effects. It is certainly not a replacement for cancer treatment, but it may have some therapeutic and protective benefits for anybody that's concerned about breast cancer. It has been shown in studies to reverse DNA damage, stunt the growth of some cancer tumors, and reduce inflammation. It's contraindicated for some people, especially those on blood thinners. So it's important to talk to your doctor before you start using it. Now, I'm just going to go back to that question I asked earlier. I said, what do you think is the best herb for women's health? Well, there is no right or wrong answer, but I would love to share what I think on this. Um, Based on these 5 herbs that I listed, I will have to say that Eleuthero is hands down the best herb. And very good, MDK got it. It's my favorite herb because it helps with all aspects of women's health, and I'll talk a little bit more about that now. I did get another comment. What are my thoughts on ashwagandha? I think ashwagandha is it's a really great herb, and it's been shown like long term to improve stamina, and it helps with things like thyroid health. But if it gave you a bad reaction, I mean, certainly you don't want to continue taking something that's going to give you a bad reaction. I would wonder, like, if it was in a supplement, like I have like capsules or another way of taking herbs. There could have been other things in the supplement if you were taking a capsule, and that's always something to be mindful of. So yeah, I would just say if you're having a bad reaction, I wouldn't keep taking it. It was a good brand. Oh, it only had the herb. Interesting. Well, I haven't heard of that reaction before, but everybody is different. So if you're having a reaction to any kind of herb, I would just avoid it because it could just be maybe you have personally intolerance to it, or maybe even an allergy. Or if it was just too potent, maybe your dosage was too high. And sometimes that can happen. And I've personally had reactions to a little bit of things myself. So that's another reason why I do herbs, because I'm so sensitive to different medications and things that I would rather take something that doesn't cause severe side effects. And I always start with like the lowest possible dose and then gradually build up. So if that's something that you could do, that would probably help. So as far as I was mentioning Eleuthero and why it's my favorite herb, it's great for keeping our hormones in balance. So when I talked about Eleuthero, the main benefit was hormones, keeping our hormones in balance, but also there's other benefits to it. It can help regulate our blood pressure, therefore good for our heart health. It can protect our emotions, so good for our mental health. It can strengthen our immune system, protecting us from cancer potentially. And it can help with cognitive function and recovery from brain injuries, similar to Bacopa. So it's also great for brain health. So Eleuthero, the most well-rounded herb that I'm talking about today, I actually have that in one of my adaptogenic supplements, and it actually has ashwagandha in it. B vitamins, you've had allergic reaction. Okay. You know what? You're not the only person I've heard of that has had, I'm talking to Creative Heart. I have heard of people having severe reactions to B12. So some people are actually allergic to vitamin B12 in different supplement form. And I don't know if they've found something better, but I've heard of people having reaction to the cyanocobalamin, methyl. The methyl is the one that I usually take, methylcobalamin, but also there's even like B12 added to things, like it's in nutritional yeast and it could be added to different foods and drinks. And some people are just actually allergic. I'm not sure why, or maybe it's just because it's been man-made in those forms, but it's certainly possible that there's allergic reactions. So something to consider. Again, like herbs are typically very safe, but when you're getting things in the form of capsules, then you have a little bit higher of a risk of having a dosage that's maybe too high for you, or, a combination of different ingredients that could cause reactions. So like this supplement that I'm holding here, it's a turmeric one of my turmeric supplements, but it also has other things in it. Like there's multiple different herbal ingredients added to it. So that's very common. Now you might be wondering, now that I talked about all these herbs, well, like how much do you need to take? How much, like how to take it? Well, there's a number of ways they can be taken. Typically, the recommended dosage is on the bottle. But again, that's just like the supplement facts. That's typically just like for the average person, this is what's considered safe. But that might not actually be what you need. So, like I said, starting with the lowest dose and then gradually increasing to the recommended dosage if you feel comfortable with that is usually how that works. But always check with your doctor first. And I'm going to talk about like the specific supplements, how they're best taken. So Bacopa, it's typically used as a tincture, and that's the best way to take it, in my opinion. And that's what I have here is Bacopa. But it can also be taken in capsule form. And, there's different forms of everything. Like it could be as, in a tablet, or you can have certain things like aromatherapy or skin creams and different ways of taking them. Now, Hawthorn and Schizandra, they're both best as a tea. So like I have Hawthorn as a tea, but you can also get it as a tincture. Turmeric is best eaten as a culinary spice. So you can actually just get that in the spice section of the store and then sprinkle it on your food. But it actually, if I'm being honest with you, you get the most benefit if you're adding black pepper and some kind of fat to turmeric, and it like enhances its benefits. So like curry is like the best thing for turmeric because, you can add, like there's black pepper in it and turmeric and some other spices. And, if you just add either like a little bit of oil or coconut milk to make your curry, then you're getting like the most benefits that you can from turmeric. But a lot of people do better just taking it as a daily supplement like I do, because it's easier. You don't have to like prepare a meal every time you take it. You just take it with your vitamins. So turmeric can also be taken as a capsule. Now, Eleuthero, this one can be best taken as a capsule, but it also can be taken as a tincture. So these are all very different things, but this is just what I was taught when I did my studies on herbal medicine and holistic nutrition. So I'm seeing a couple more comments here. Yes. Okay. So yeah, what you're saying with B vitamins giving you anxiety and a rash, that's exactly what I've heard other people dealing with is the rash. So that does sound like an allergic reaction. And if you're having a reaction, like you should just see what your doctor says if there's something that they can give you. Like I know some people get B12 injections, but that might also be something you're allergic to. Gotu kola is a great herb. It has a number of benefits. It's just not one of the herbs on my list today. It's definitely got a wide variety of things. So you're asking about brands. So actually, if you are one of the people that created an account on my Fullscript store, I'm going to be sending out an email after this video with a list of my top supplements that contain these herbs. So if you didn't yet, I put the link in the comments, the first comment in this chat, and it's also in the description of the video. So if you have any more questions, like you're welcome to contact me at my website, fitwithkelly.com. Send me a message if you have my email, and we can definitely follow up on this. If you like the information I shared with you today, I would love to talk more with you. You can go to my website, fitwithkelly.com. There's a place for you to book a free coaching call with me. That's a good opportunity to learn more if you have specific questions. Again, I do personal training and nutrition coaching as my primary services. And I've been doing this for over 10 years. And this is, again, my first time doing a live video for this topic for herbs in general. So it was really fun putting this together. And I hope that you enjoyed it and learned a lot from it. So thank you all so much for joining me. I love herbs too. Thank you. And I will hopefully be able to put another video together shortly. So have a wonderful Wednesday. Share this video if you have a female friend that might benefit from it. The link should be the same after the video is done for the recording. So We will see you all next time.